Hello everybody, my name's Eric and welcome to my garage. Today is day one of my first coating project ever. I plan to use this product, Gyeon Mohs EVO. I've watched a ton of videos, read all about it. It's supposed to be one of the easiest ones to do for your first coating. It's very beginner friendly. But today, I'm using this product. It's called Gyeon Primer. It's a polish that leaves a layer of SiO2 on the surface, and it's supposed to improve the bonding qualities of the coating. Polish goes on, and then you wait 24 hours, then you can put the ceramic coating directly on top of it. I'll be using these today. Should be pretty straightforward, and then tomorrow is the big day. Wish me luck. Here's the car I plan to coat. It's an 06 Honda Accord. I've owned it since new. It looks pretty decent from 20 feet or so, but you get up close and you can see what you'd expect to see from 20 years and 200,000 miles. Lots of rock chips and etchings. A few door dings here and there. Not too bad though. The worst part is on the back end of the vehicle. There's some clear coat failure on the painted plastic parts. Worst of all, right here on the rear bumper. I clayed and polished this car about 3 weeks ago using a dual action polisher and 3 passes using a DA Fine foam polishing pad from Rupes and Sonax EX 0406. So being parked outside all the time, the car needs to be washed frequently to keep it looking decent. I washed this just 2 days ago. What I'm looking for more than anything from a coating is the self-cleaning capabilities. Easier cleaning with less agitation using the wash mitt. I currently keep it protected using ceramic spray wax from Griot's Garage. I do that every 3 or 4 months. And then every 4 or 5 weeks, I'll use Gyeon Wet Coat after a wash. They're both pretty good products, no complaints. But just like most people, I'm always looking for something a little better. This is my first time using an all-in-one, or a polish that has protection built into it. I did a little test area on the front bumper off camera, and it's nothing different than any other polish really. Nothing special. Pretty easy to use. Again, this polishing step is not necessary to apply a coating, but because Gyeon says it improves the bonding of a coating to the car surface, I decided to give it a try. From what I've read about this product, you don't need to use a lot. I'm going to start out with 4 drops on a fresh pad and see how that works out. Now for the next section, I'll add 2 drops of product and continue on as before. After every other section, I'll clean off the pad. As you can see, there's pretty much no residue or dust. It doesn't seem to leave anything in the pad at all. I've taken care of the hood and front fenders, and I'm using a new pad with, just like before, 4 drops of Gyeon Primer, and I'll continue on. I start out on speed 1 with my polisher to distribute the product over the section area, and then increase the speed to 3 and use moderate pressure for the first pass, followed by light pressure with the second pass. About this point, I'm realizing that I'm needing more product. It just seems to be running dry. So I'll just stop where I'm at and add a little bit more, and then continue on. After 2 passes, I'll run the polisher over the section area one more time, using no pressure and rapid arm movement. This seems to distribute and pick up the last bit of polish residue, leaving very little to wipe off with a towel. Okay, it's coating day. It's 24 hours since I put the primer polish on, and I just need to do a quick cleaning with the panel prep to get the dust off, and then it's on to the coating, my first ever. I plan to use the provided applicator to start with. I'm going to use this side, the microfiber side. Most people seem to think that that works best and they're happier with it. I'm also going to try using one of these, a suede saver applicator from Autofiber, just to see what I prefer and what works best for me. And then for leveling, I got a couple of towels, Edgeless Pearl, and Edgeless 365, both from Rag Company. And I've got a bunch of both of them. Don't know how many to use, but I'll probably use a lot. Let's get to it. The directions say a panel prep is not a required step if you allow the primer to cure for 24 hours before coating. But even in a garage, there's a layer of dust that needs to be removed before applying the coating. If using a standard polish, it's best to spray the panel prep solution directly on the surface, let it dwell for 15 seconds or so, and then wipe it off in order to pick up all the polishing oils and residue to make the car perfectly clean for a coating. I'm using this little cart to hold the coating and the applicator, and I've got plenty of towels down below to use as needed. Okay, time to start. The hardest part of starting this project is trying to figure out where to start. So obviously, I want to take care of any areas that are going to require leaning over, such as the roof and hood, so that I'm not leaning into any product when I'm doing those areas. So I decided to start on the roof first. And I got these towels there to kind of loosely define the section area I want to go in. And so I'm breaking the roof into 6 areas, 3 on this side and 3 on the other. Most of the coating application videos I've seen, people run a heavy bead of product down the center of the applicator for the initial use. The directions say to apply a thick layer of Mohs EVO and to wipe off after 10 seconds or immediately in warmer climates. So it's about 80 degrees in my garage today. The humidity is between 60 and 70%. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'll level it off right away. Now I'll reload the applicator with a lot less product for the next section. The instructions from Gyeon are not especially helpful when it comes to knowing how much product to use. All they tell you is to use a generous amount of product on the applicator, and after that it says apply a thick layer of coating. Most of the videos I've watched of coating applications show people using maybe 8 to 10 drops when they reload on the applicator, and that's what I'm shooting for. I will tell you that by the end of this project, I used nearly the entire 30 milliliter bottle of coating. And most of what I've read said that I should have used about half that amount. I understand it's common for first-timers to over-apply the product, but at the same time, it never felt like I was removing an excessive amount of material on the wipe-off. At this point, I'm feeling pretty good about the process. It all seems pretty simple and straightforward. My primary concern, however, is accidentally dropping that $70 bottle of liquid. So I finished off the roof, and now I'm skipping ahead to the hood. Again, I'm using these gray towels to sort of loosely define my section area. I'm finding the most difficult part of this process is just keeping track of your section borders. After the wipe-off, there's really no visual indicators at all to show where you've applied coating and where you haven't. I've read that Mohs EVO has an immediate darkening effect on application, but I'm really not seeing that at all. And I kind of wonder if that's because I used the primer, which puts down a layer of SiO2. So with fresh product, the applicator really glides across the surface with no resistance at all. But within moments, right about here, it starts to get grippy, and it's time to wipe it off. A video by Sandro with Carcraft Detailing suggested that increasing resistance in the applicator was a good indicator that it was time to wipe off. And I found that advice to be spot on. Some other advice I'm following is from Mike G's videos, who suggests on the wipe off to go around and inward on your perimeter of your section to get the majority of the excess product. And then getting a fresh towel or flipping your towel to do the final buff to get the remainder. In some areas, I made my section sizes much smaller than others. And that's just so I could keep better track of where I've applied coating already. Here I want to show how I changed my section sizing as I progressed through the project. I decided to break up this left rear door into 3 tall rectangles, followed by the section underneath the plastic trim near the bottom of the door. I split the left front door into 6 sections, and I kind of felt like I could work more efficiently if I increased the section size a bit, and that turned out to be the case. Over the past year or so, I started to use these type of coating applicators to apply the ceramic spray wax that I use. I feel like it was good training to get myself ready for doing this, the real thing. I sanded and polished the headlamps before this project so I could apply coating to them while I was doing the rest of the car. Here I'm trying an Edgeless 365 for the wipe-off towel. I found these work well. They do the job just fine, although I slightly prefer the Edgeless Pearl. Here again, you can see how the product flashes and beads up almost immediately. And then a moment later, the applicator starts to drag slightly, and you're ready to wipe off. Now I'm going to flash forward a little bit to show where I made a mistake right in this area. This is the car a week later after applying the coating, and I've washed it for the first time. And the water is going to show where I failed to overlap my sections properly, and I just missed a spot. Yeah, that's about how I feel. I had to open my garage door to apply the coating to the backside. It's not ideal applying a coating in sunlight. It's pretty late in the day and the sun's not intense or anything, and I didn't have any issues doing this. I'm really glad I had a car like this for applying my first coating. Something like this that's not terrible, but not exactly great either. Made all the difference in my stress levels, and honestly, the whole process was quite enjoyable. Well, today's the day after coating day. The car's been in the garage for 24 hours. Time to pull it out in the sun and give it a look. I'm pleased with how it looks. There's no obvious high spots or flaws in the coating that I can see. Here's a shot late in the day with the sun going down. It's easy to see all the scratches and swirls that I'm not going to try to polish out. Not on paint this old. So here it's 2 days after applying the coating, and it's kind of cloudy and overcast today, and that's when you can see these kinds of things, the high spots. There's one just behind the letter H on the hood. I'll need to learn more about applying coatings to large panels like this to avoid this kind of thing from happening. Now it's 3 days after applying the coating. We had a little rain last night and this morning. I went outside while it was raining and I got some more unwelcome news, which is this spot right in the middle of the hood where I basically missed. I completely missed it. There's no coating there at all. Bummer, dude. Now it's a week after coating application and I'm giving it its first bath. The instructions from Gyeon say, do not wash the car with any strong detergents within the first 14 days if the car did not collect heavy dirt or contamination. That statement's open to any number of interpretations. but I feel the car was plenty dirty, and the wash shampoo I use is by no means a strong detergent. Here I'll use a spray bottle to highlight my minor coating application error. If this were a wax or sealant, fixing this would be no problem at all. But with the coating, it's going to be a little more involved. I'll need to polish off the entire hood and recoat. When the hood's dried off, there's no sign whatsoever of any problem at all with the coating. Now it's 2 weeks after coating application, and I'm washing the car again, and I wanted to share some water behavior. Minus that giant dead zone, it looks pretty good. Here you can see the coating rejecting soap. It's pretty much the law if you make a coating video that you need to show the beading. So here you go. And here's some sheet rinsing. After I fixed the hood, my plan is to just live with this for several months. I'm not going to use any boosters or toppers or anything like that. I want to be able to see the performance of the coating itself. If all goes well and I decide I'm a coating type of person, I'll move on to the next project, which is this. It's big and it's bright white, and it should be a lot of fun to coat that one. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye now.